If you've been searching for a video on how to pick the perfect Shopify business idea, well, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll have all you need to pick the best Shopify business idea for you and move forward with creating your store. Hey, I'm Patrick from Code That Converts, and my goal is to help you improve your Shopify store. I understand that choosing an idea for your Shopify store can be a difficult decision, so I made this video to help you figure this out as quickly as possible so you can launch your store. By the way, if you have an aha moment during the video and learn something interesting, let me know in the comments below. And stick around to the end of the video for a bonus tip on how to pick the best idea for your Shopify store, as well as a free gift to help you get through this process as quickly as possible. Okay, let's get into it. In my opinion, the best kind of Shopify business idea can be found at the intersection between what you know and what the market wants a solution for. To put it simply, I think the best kind of ideas is something that fills a need in the market and something you have a personal interest in. Now, I could have just told you to pick a profitable niche like fashion or home and kitchen products, but in my opinion, profitability is only one half of what makes a great idea. The other half is the idea needs to be something people in the market actually want. Now, you'll find a lot of videos online that say you don't need to like something to make money from it. And while that's true, I find the most difficult part of this whole process is consistency. If you're working on something you know about already, or you have a lot of interest in, you're much more likely to remain consistent when things aren't working out yet. Starting a Shopify business is already tough enough, so make it easier on yourself by picking something that you know or already have an interest in. But remember, in order for it to be a great idea, it has to be something you know the market actually needs. For example, let's say you're really passionate about clothing and you want to start a clothing brand. Unless you have an idea to meet a need that's not currently being met in the clothing industry, and you've done the research to know for sure that it's a problem that people really need a solution for, it might not be the best idea to just start a random clothing store. Now, if you're someone that has a big following online, starting a clothing store could work out for you. But if you're not, you'll need to figure out a way to overcome the competition from the other thousands of Shopify stores selling clothing just like you are. So if you can't figure out a way to differentiate yourself from them and solve real problems that customers are having, that business probably won't be successful. Okay, so now that we understand that, let's talk about how you can figure out what the market actually wants. The key to figuring out what the market actually wants is to do something called market research. I found this wonderful blog post about niche researching tools for affiliate marketing, but honestly, a lot of the stuff mentioned can be useful for us as well. I'll put a link to the blog post in the description below if you want to check it out, but what's important is that it mentions 3 free tools that I think you should use to help you figure out if any of your current interests or knowledge fits in with what the market currently has a need for. And these 3 tools are Google Trends, Answer Socrates, and subreddit stats. Now, I'm gonna run through an example of how you can use these 3 tools to figure out if your niche has a market demand for it. For this example, we're gonna imagine I just love animals and I wanna start a Shopify store in the pet niche. Okay, so we're starting off with Google Trends. Google Trends is a tool you can use to track the popularity of a search term on Google. You can look up broad search terms and get very specific about how the traffic for that search term has changed over the years. Using this tool, you can figure out if a niche is very popular amongst people that use Google, which is pretty much everyone, right? You can even track the term's popularity over the course of the last few years and see if it's something that's been trending, or if it's something people have always been interested in, or even if it's something that's been declining in interest over the last few years. So we're gonna start off by looking at the broad search term, pets. If I type in pets, by default, I see the current search traffic for the term in the United States over the past 30 days. Now, what's cool about Google Trends is you can go in and you can adjust the default settings to whatever location you want and whatever period of time you want to see. I think a good rule of thumb here is to look at the interest over the past 5 years. The goal is to find something that has interest that's been trending in the positive direction. Even if the search term is not viral and exploding in search traffic, if it's trending in the positive direction, that's usually a good sign. What's also cool about this tool is you can scroll to the bottom and take a look at where it says related topics. You'll notice that some of the search terms and related topics will have the word breakout next to them, which implies that the search term is exploding in traffic. At this point, you can take a look at the related topics and see which one catches your eye. When I was doing research for this video, I found a breakout topic called dog grooming. I figured this could be a pretty good niche because a lot of people love their pets and want to take care of them. So I could potentially build a Shopify store around physical products and digital products to help people groom their dogs better. I also set the filters on Google Trends to look at the interests over the past 5 years, and also check the filter for interest on web search and YouTube. And in all cases, the term dog grooming seems to be trending upwards, so I know I can move on to the next step of this process. Now that I have a sub niche inside the broad pets category, I can move on to using Answer Socrates. Answer Socrates is a tool you can use to find commonly asked questions about different things on the internet. This is really good for identifying keywords that people use when searching up things regarding this niche, so you can get a feel for how people in this niche talk and what kind of language they use. You can use these keywords to figure out what kind of content people want to see and what their pain points are regarding your niche. Figuring out the pain points of people in your niche is super important, so you do not want to skip this. In fact, it's so important, in the next part of the video, I'll tell you how you can use Reddit to validate the pain points people are having, so stay tuned for that. Either way, once you understand what all the problems and pain points are, you're now better equipped to create products to help solve these pain points. You can also go in and create content to answer lots of the questions that people have in your niche that they always ask, according to Answer Socrates. Creating content around these questions can help you build a brand and build trust amongst people in that niche. For example, check out what I found when I typed in dog grooming into Answer Socrates. I found a bunch of useful questions that let me know some general problems people have when it comes to dog grooming. And by the way, since we're talking about this, here's a little tip. If you take these questions and put them into Google, you can find other related questions people ask. You can use this to further bolster your research and figure out if there is a real market demand for your Shopify business idea. Okay. The last tool we'll use to validate whether our idea is a good one is subreddit stats. Subreddit stats is a great tool you can use to find trending Reddit sub-communities for your chosen idea. You've probably heard of Reddit before, but if you haven't, Reddit is an online forum discussion website that people use to discuss various topics. You can pretty much find a Reddit sub-community for almost anything, so it's the perfect tool to use to figure out if your niche is popular and what problems people are facing in the niche today. So here's what you're gonna do. First, you're gonna find the name of the subreddit for your chosen niche or topic. In my case, it's dog grooming. Then type in the name of the subreddit into subreddit stats. Lastly, you'll just check the data in subreddit stats and see if that subreddit shows a growing number of subscribers, posts per day, and comments per day. If the subreddit for your niche seems to be growing, there's a good sign that there's a lot of market demand for that niche. And as you can see, when I did this for the dog grooming subreddit, the number of subscribers, posts per day, and comments per day were all going up. That told me that the dog grooming niche might not be a bad idea for a Shopify store. And keep in mind, even if your niche is super competitive, as long as you can solve problems people are having in that niche and answer their questions with the content you create, you can make money with that Shopify store. For now, don't even worry about competing with the other Shopify stores in your niche. Just focus on providing solutions to the pain points people have and being as consistent as possible. Now, lastly, I don't know if you remember, earlier in the video, I mentioned I'd tell you about how you can use Reddit to validate the pain points people are having. Well, I said Reddit is a website that people go to discuss different things. You can scroll through the subreddit for your chosen idea or niche, and you can literally see the types of things people are asking in there. You can use the different questions and then the answers to those questions to figure out what kind of content you can create for people in that audience, or you can take it a step further and join that subreddit and become part of the community. Doing this will help you build trust in the niche, which will help you to make sales once you set up your Shopify store. Now, if you stuck around to the end, like I asked earlier, here's a bonus tip as well as a free gift to help you pick the perfect Shopify business idea for you. When I was doing research into Shopify niches, I came across this YouTube video that spoke about 3 recession-proof niches you can start a business in and make money regardless of how good or bad the economy is doing. I'll link that video in the description because honestly, it's an awesome video. But essentially, the 3 different niche categories shared in the video were health, wealth, and relationships. Now, these are all 3 broad categories, but if you were to pick a sub-niche inside one of these 3 categories, there's a good chance you'll always have customers. These 3 categories are known as evergreen niches, which means there will always be a need for products and services in them. So if you have no idea what to pick and one of these 3 interests you, please feel free to pick one. And if you do pick one, you're going to want to drill down into a sub-niche inside that category so you don't make your offerings too broad. It'll be a lot easier to market your store that way. So you're going to want to go through the same process I went through in this video. And to help you speed through this process for your own Shopify store, I have a free gift for you. If you click the link in the description below, you'll be taken to my website where you can get a copy of a free PDF checklist you can use to go through the entire process I spoke about in this video. The purpose of this checklist is to help you go through this process as quickly as possible. So please check it out. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful and that it helps you figure out the best Shopify business idea for you. Now, if you found the video really helpful, check out this other video I have about creating a Shopify store and designing it with the Shopify Dawn theme. In the video, I cover a few different Shopify stores that use the Shopify Dawn theme, which is a free theme that Shopify offers to every Shopify merchant that joins the platform. In the video, I go through a few different examples so you can see and get inspiration from them and quickly put together your store's design so you can launch and focus on the most important part of running your business, which is going to be actually marketing your store and actually getting sales. All right, hope to see you in that video, and I'll see you in the next one.